Okay. What's going on with the NFL Players Association, Mike, and why should fans care about it? I give you the floor on that.
Well, currently it's chaos, and it's the aftermath of the abrupt resignations of both Executive Director Lloyd Howell and then former NFLPA President and more recently Chief Strategy Officer J.C. Treader. And it really had been kind of a drip of news. Pablo Torre and I did some reporting. We found a collusion ruling that had been hidden for more than 5 months, and we still don't know why the NFLPA elected to hide it because it was a partial victory. One of the findings was that the NFL Management Council, with the blessing of the commissioner, urged teams to collude as it relates to guaranteed contracts following the Deshaun Watson deal of 2022. That was stuffed in a drawer for more than 5 months by the league and the union until Pablo Torre tracked it down. So there were other things too. ESPN's done some great work here with Kalen Kaler and Don Van Natta Jr., different items that just increased the pressure. I think it was an impending report from them last week about the strip club expense report misadventures with Lloyd Howell that caused him to resign. But as of right now, I don't know where they go. I don't think they know where they go. And the players who are leading the charge have training camp to focus on. This is not an ideal time to be figuring out who the interim executive director should be. But here's why fans should care. It's critical that there be balance in this relationship between the league and the players. And you don't want it to get out of balance. I think if it gets out of balance, it sets the stage for a work stoppage at some point. You know, the league can push and push and push, and at some point the players say enough, and you got 1982 or 1987 all over again. No one wants that. And if it gets out of balance the other way, then you get a lockout in 2011 where the league felt compelled to try to claw back some of the gains the players had made in the 2006 CBA talks. So you want both sides to be strong. You want there to be a healthy tension, and you want there to be balance. And right now there's a risk that based on how this goes, it's going to become grossly imbalanced between the league and the players.
So the question is once the players can actually focus on it, your opinion of what would provide the most balance, somebody who's a lawyer or somebody who's from the world of business, Mike?
And this is an interesting question for a variety of reasons.
I only ask those, Mike. You know that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know
Not
that.
to be confused with your normal boring questions. This is an interesting one. Because there's a perception that Pablo Torre and I had like a magic wand that was waved that has caused these vacancies. People think they can try to get me to like push for their preferred candidate or for them. I'm staying out of who the next executive director should be, but there are different ways to look at it. And in the past, they had kind of a bulldog in DeMaurice Smith. Lloyd Howell was the other extreme. Let's do business. I'm a businessman with no labor experience, but I know how they think. I'll be able to do our deals. You know, it would be helpful to have a former player who's got some labor relations chops and knows how to preside over collective bargaining talks. And one of the things I thought of today, I mean, if you really want to make things interesting, you think about somebody who's in the NFL right now, somebody with the league or one of the teams that maybe could be lured for the right price to switch sides and come lead the union. Wouldn't you want somebody who knows what their recipe is for making the sausage? That happens in business from time to time. I'd be thinking about, and again, I'm not naming names because I'm not here to play Game of Thrones, but man, it would be interesting to see somebody come from behind Big Shield to, not to be confused with the completely unrelated Big Shield that is the title of the book, but to leave the NFL and lead the union. That would be high drama.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.